Welcome back. Since the Hamas attack of October 7th, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has faced relentless criticism from abroad for his wars in the Middle East and the soaring death toll in Gaza, and at home in Israel for putting his own political survival ahead of national security and the fate of the Israeli hostages still being held by Hamas. This week, Netanyahu took the stand in his bribery and corruption trial for the first time since it began back in 2020. He denies all the charges against him and pleaded not guilty. At the same time, the Bibi Files, a new film that's banned from being seen in Israel, pulls back the curtain with leaked police interrogations and never-before-seen footage revealing Netanyahu's shocking other side. Due to Israeli legal restrictions, we can't show that footage either, but filmmakers Alex Gibney and Alexis Bloom join me to unpack their extraordinary film. Alex Gibney and Alexis Bloom, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So, Alexis, let me ask you, the trial is underway. For the first time since this trial actually began in 2020, Netanyahu is in the courtroom, so to speak. It's pretty good timing for this film.
Yes, it is pretty good timing. I mean, we've been saying that for a year. Every time you think something's going to happen or that he's going to say something substantive or have to face the charges, it turns out that he sort of shirks them. The first day of the court hearing was a little disappointing in that he used it mainly for grandstanding, I would say. He was saying that there's an attempted coup against him, the media is out to get him, that the judicial system is biased, and he used it very much to sort of attack what he calls the deep state.
Well, look, you say the deep state, it obviously all sounds very Trumpian as well when he talks about the media against him, his domestic enemies against him, and he uses those terms. But here's the thing, Alexis and Alex, your film cannot be seen at this point inside Israel because of various laws and privacy provisions that prohibit that kind of interrogation footage being shown at this time. Alex, how do you think it's going to get to the people who you want to see?
Well, I do think that we wanted the international audience to see it, and they will see it in all of its honesty and glory. The people in Israel will see it, but almost certainly via pirated means. We already know that it's caused a big stir in Israel. I mean, one of the things about these interrogation videos that I think needs to be clear is that you sort of see Netanyahu not exactly in an unguarded moment. He's very much aware of the camera, but it's a very vulnerable moment or a series of moments. And then you see Sarah, his wife, and his son Yair show this kind of unbelievable contempt for the rule of law and the state, which is, I think, for Israelis, really shocking to see. And in the leaks that have happened outside of official channels, they're getting a look at it, and it's causing quite a stir. From an international perspective, I think, for years and years and years, we've been fed, in part because, Netanyahu controls his image so assiduously, this idea that he is the grand statesman. Well, there's a kind of seamy, corrupt, petty criminal underbelly to this man, which these tapes really show in a way that I think many people will find shocking.
And of course, we have to say that he denies all the charges against him. Having said that, Alexis, describe for us, since we cannot, and on this platform, international viewers will not see the clips, could you tell us, describe what Alex is talking about?
Well, the interrogations were lengthy, even though he controls when the police come and they have to come to him, to his office, unlike the other interrogations where people go to the police station, but they're lengthy, so some of them are 4 hours long. And if you look, I always tended to look at the end of the interrogations first when he gets tired. And when he gets tired, the mask slips and he gets angry, he gets sweaty, he gets defensive, there's a lot of arm crossing, the denials get more repeated, he gets exasperated. So you do see him on the defensive. Occasionally, he loses his temper and he bangs the table, most often when he's played the recordings of other people. So occasionally, the police will play a recording where another witness says, you know, this happened. Netanyahu asked me to do this. He asked me to approach this person. He asked me to sign this paperwork. And then Netanyahu will get angry and say, he's lying, or multiple people are lying, they're all lying. And then he does get quite enervated.
I think the other thing that's interesting, there's a very interesting sequence in Alexis's film in which a number of people close to Netanyahu recall what an extraordinary memory he has for everything. And then you see a series of clips in which he says over and over and over, I can't remember, I can't recall, don't remember, can't recall. And at which point at some point the police just laugh. It says, like, if I was to tell you that light over there, which is on, is off, that would be a lie. But it's so evident that he's lying throughout these interrogations, shamelessly, but in ways that are clearly very practiced.
In this case, I was surprised because it was very petulant. He appears very petulant. I might have done it. I might not have done it. There was a lot of that kind of stuff. And I just wonder, there's a sense of l'état c'est moi. I am the state. You are attacking Israel when you impudently ask me these questions. Did you feel that, Alexis?
I felt that very strongly, but not only from the material, from everybody that I spoke to in Israel, both on the record and off the record. It was a theme that came up again and again and again, regardless of the political spectrum. You know, the people that I was talking to, some very right-wing people would say, he thinks he's King David. It came up so often. I went into this film not being as critical of Netanyahu as I ended up being, just because people, I mean, the number of people I can't count who said there should be a term limit in Israel. He's in power now, it's coming up to 17 years, and many, many people said that.
Interesting. And just about Sarah Netanyahu, throughout the film, because there was this hot tape where apparently he had admitted having an affair, etc. It just seems like a very convoluted, I don't know, partnership.
I'd say they're codependent, certainly. They are a power couple. Everybody in Israel says they rule together. She has an enormous amount of power.
She caught him in an act of infidelity. And ever since then, according to people Alexis spoke to, you know, she's had a very tight hold on him. And I think he's afraid that she'll leave him. This is very human stuff. But in this case, it has a dramatic effect on the state. And there's one sort of appalling moment where families of hostage families, Israeli hostage families, are sort of brought in to kiss the ring of Sarah Netanyahu in order to hope that maybe she'll, exert some influence on her husband to try to get them back. It's really a very disturbing episode.
And many of those families are clinging to hope that a ceasefire deal may still be in the offing. Now, that is just part of my interview on the BB Files. You can watch the rest online, and the film itself is out now in New York and in the UK on the online platform jolt.film. Now, after a break,